Oh, those scams, the greatest illusions ever created. Do you know the saying, it's easier to fool people than convince them that they've been fooled? Coined by Mark Twain. He was spot on. David Copperfield and Chris Angel should take notes. But why are people so eager to give their money away? Well, let's find out. This video is about a saturated landscape of scams and deceptions. Why are people risking their life savings on something they don't know anything about? Even with blatantly riddled with red flags, people still willingly fly into those traps. And what's worse, when you try to help them, they will find thousands of excuses about why you are wrong and they are right. No! They are willing to protect their beliefs, sometimes even until years after losing their investment. First recorded scam in history is from 300 BC. Two Greek ship merchants took a loan on their ship and a cargo of corn, promising to pay back the loan and the interests when they have sold their merchandise. As soon as the ship left the port, one of the men secretly went down the cargo hold, while the other tried to distract the crew on the deck. But the captain heard something. As he went down to investigate, he discovered that the other merchant was trying to cut a hole in the ship's hull with an axe.
And my axe.
The plan was to sink the ship and drown the crew, and they would escape with the money. The merchants had tied an escort boat behind the ship to be able to escape. As the guy cutting the hole was discovered, he ran on the deck and jumped into the water. He drowned. A poetic and ironic ending. This scam was very relatable to modern days insurance fraud. There have been countless of examples from Roman times and in modern history. Of course, even the famous snake oil. And of course, we can't forget about the famous Charles Ponzi, an Italian swindler who took investment money from people promising them high yields, but actually covering these interests with the money from new investors. He promised 50% profits in 45 days and 100% profits within 90 days. Even recently we had Bernie Madoff, or Madoff, whichever you wanna call. He got 150 years in prison from running the world's largest Ponzi scheme in history, a sentence none of us would ever bear to endure, as he passed away in 2021. Today we have thousands of ways to lose wealth. Every day we can make a mistake by just misclicking something on our computer screen, or answering a call from fake Amazon or Microsoft customer service, a number you don't know. By the way, you can switch on a potential scam warning setting on your smartphone. Therefore, you actually know if the scammer is calling you. It works almost 99% of the time. There are, of course, phishing scams, viruses, keyloggers, and all those are not that sophisticated, but they are still luring in victims by their own mistakes. Long gone are the days of helping the Nigerian prince. Even when all these traps hide behind every corner, 99% of people who fall for these scams can only blame themselves. Sadly, it is all because of lack of education. But what are the signs when you're being scammed? How can you tell what is a scam and what isn't? Well, these are the signs. Promises of great returns. I'm now concentrating on scams that people fall for the most. Whether they're young or old or smart or stupid, they still find the way to give their money away. Sometimes finding a scam is simple. They just promise returns no one else can match. They have a small entry fee, of course, with a few different packages ranging in price. But the more you put in, the sweeter the return. Sign number 2. The product and the investment are separated. Contradictory to the first sign, you need to bear in mind that by selling it as an investment is not possible. The Securities and Exchange Commission would be on their tail in no time. Their backdoor is selling a product or an educational package. It's simply plausible deniability. Now they have a corner to hide behind when the SEC comes knocking. A legitimate loophole. The Howey test is used to determine if the product is a security or not. Promising any returns in the product that you're actually buying automatically puts the scammer at risk. And that is the reason why the product itself and returns of the project are separated. Third sign is referrals. If something you invest in requires or counts on referrals, it gives you another red flag. That is the first sign of a Ponzi scheme. And by the way, people who are willingly recommending these schemes to you are either ignorant or malicious. But in both cases, they're not your friends. Sign number 4. Their inner ecosystem. Many scam projects try to lure investors by promising them a new or a better version of whatever is the buzzword going around at that time. The promise is their own exchange, their own shops, their own this and that. Why? It's centralized AF. Only Apple has pulled off their own tightly locked ecosystem. Whoever wants to willingly create their own gated community of fools is a scammer. Now, hypothetically, you just stepped into this trap, or you've been in there for some time. You might believe anything that will assure you that you will not lose your money. It's a delusion every person will manifest. No one wants to believe that their money is gone. The reason why I'm making this video is because recently I was contacted by a person who tried to sell me another Ponzi. I did some research in either Scan, I found out the owner's IPs of those websites and so on. Basically, I found out a lot of red flags. I tried to warn him that he should diversify and not go all in this project. Instead, he insisted that we'd make a Zoom call and his mentor will, help me to understand the project. So I carefully compiled all the evidence I found and entered the Zoom call. I questioned the so-called mentor. Whatever I asked, he was either being very vague about it or didn't know the answer. But one thing I noticed, he stood strong. He convinced himself and tried to convince me that this was the best shit in town. After an hour-long conversation, I contacted the guy who tried to recruit me and I told him about this project. I told him to be careful. But he also stood strong and admitted that he had invested most of his life savings in there, 16,000 euros. And he was willing to put in more because he believes in it. The scam is still ongoing and I can't say the name here for obvious reasons. But the model is simple. They sell you cloud mining for this coin for poor investors or a hardware mining for this coin to give you an overpriced tablet with a custom mining software. This project starts with the letter Z. Anyways, in conclusion, a few words of wisdom. Even if the project is legitimate, even if the investment is 99% safe, you will never go all in. Always diversify and always invest money that you are willing to lose. No investment is ever safe. Promising otherwise is the work of the devil or a scammer. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like, smash that bell, and if you dare, subscribe as well. I'm SillyLlamaz and thanks for watching. Till next time.